one of the tips I have for you is to turn off the lights when you're shooting food and just use the light from the sun. You're not gonna have any weird colors that are being casted on you from the lights in the room. So I like to shoot in rooms that are kind of dark with a big window, and that allows that natural light to spill in a really soft way, and then it creates that nice light to dark gradient. If I had a piece of cake in front of me right now, the right side of that cake, your left, would be dark and the other side would be light, and that would create that 3D gradient that looks really, really good on food photos. If I were to shoot from here, which is kind of impossible because there's no room, but if this was a bigger room, the light would be completely flat because I can't see the shadow. But if I'm shooting on this side, the light is cascading over the top of the cake, just creating this really, really interesting light dynamic, and it just looks awesome.
You can see I have a variety of different neutral colored tiles here, and I photograph them in different ways to give it a subtle texture in the background. And these usually range anywhere from $2 to like $8, depending on how nice of a tile it is. You should remember to add little bumpers on the corners. You can use cork, foam, rubber, felt, whatever it takes. It'll help protect your table and your other tiles. And then once it feels pretty good, you can flip it over and start using it. With the tiles, it's important to notice the ones that are more textured have different looks with different angles of light. So this is kind of a backlit and you can see the textures show. And then the tile in the middle is my slate tile. If I get it wet, it gets nice and dark. And so it doesn't stay dark for very long. It dries pretty quickly, but this is a good way to get a little bit darker texture without having to buy a completely new piece of tile. These are just kind of some tips and tricks that I like to use when I photograph my tile, but the tile is an awesome way to kind of get that tabletop look without having to invest in a brand new table.
Make sure to have extra food material. So I'm making chocolate chip cookies today for my shoot. I'm gonna have extra chocolate chip cookie dough in case I want to do a process shot, and I'm also gonna have extra chocolate chips, extra flour, sugar, etc. in case I want to do kind of a baking setup shot, as well as I've baked 16 cookies to get to a final perfect 3. So definitely overdo it, and then you can always select the best and most beautiful foods. So make sure to have extra of everything.
I've chosen this old barn door to be the background, basically because we're in a garden and I just wanted to be rustic all the way through. In terms of the colour palette for this, I'm keeping it all fairly muted. There's no flashy colour scheme going on. This is just because I wanted it to be rustic. I know we're going to shoot in a garden, so all the earthy colours, I want that to come through. So even the bread I've chosen to be quite rustic. You also don't want to fill all the glasses full. You want to think about, you know, like it's been, that someone's had a sip of it. So some of them you might want fuller than others, looking like you're about to dive in and enjoy yourself. I'm looking for the story, because to me, just shooting it all from like here, and wiggling on my stool, just feels like there's just so many things going on, and that might be good, but there's also these little individual little stories, and that's where I'm kind of looking for.
So this is our workspace here. We're working on a white background, but of course you can use anything you'd like. Let's begin with our bigger elements, and for this piece in particular, it'll be our bitter melon. And you know, just have fun with it because it's food and you're playing with food, and if you don't like how something looks, you can just move it. Next we'll put down our limes. And I'm going to showcase the inside of the lime and also the pretty vibrant green skin. Since we're working with greens and purples, I want to show all different tones of greens and purples. So now we're going to take a photo to see how everything's looking.